Imagine that you've just ordered a nice warm cinnamon roll for breakfast. The waiter walks towards you and puts down a cinnamon roll with chili on top of it. From cinnamon rolls doused in chili to weird games like chicken poop bingo, the US just about has the weirdest cities in the world. Omaha. Besides putting chili on top of cinnamon rolls, Omaha, Nebraska does a bunch of other weird stuff too. Askerbin is how you say Nebraska backwards, and locals love putting it in every single sentence that they can. Whether it's the Askerbin State Fair or the Askerbin City Council, these wacky citizens have a weird preference for being able to say their state's name backwards. Downtown Dodge Street lives up to its name and its nickname, Suicide Lane. The busy road consistently switches directions as it meanders throughout the city. You'll also be able to be in two states at one time by just crossing over the Missouri River. So, if you want to get a truly unique perspective on a quirky city, then drop on by Philadelphia. Home to the Big Broken Bell, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania is not your normal city. Located just off the main street in Mutter Museum, a creepy place that displays abnormal body parts, sporting a huge skull collection and pieces of Albert Einstein's brain, it's very popular with locals as well as tourists. While visiting the birthplace of American freedom, it would be a crime not to spend some time at the Eastern State Penitentiary. Al Capone did. Pizza Brain may be the city's most tasty combination museum and restaurant, serving up the world's largest collection of pizza-related items. Talk about cheesy. It's a no-brainer that Philadelphia is strange indeed. San Francisco. Located on the Pacific Bay, San Francisco, California is a haven for an odd mix of hip and homeless people to harbor. But they love their Golden State and being late. The only thing that's ever on time is the fog. They're so fond of it that it's got a name, Carl the Fog. In San Francisco, there's always something interesting going on, like the San Freak-Cisco Freak Show. The only thing that is a drag in the city is the people who do drag, and most of them are actually pretty crazy. There's a race once a year from the bay to the ocean called the Bay to Breakers. In addition, it also perfectly is legal to be naked in San Francisco, so somebody theoretically could run the race from the bay to the ocean completely naked. You didn't hear it from us though. Portland. 160 miles north of San Francisco is yet another fishy place. Portland, Oregon. This city is home to the smallest park in the world and the most strip clubs per person in the nation. There are rules though. Strippers can only wear clothing that's not made of animals. You can't say that they don't have some priorities straight. In addition to having eco-friendly strippers, Portland's also home to one of the wackiest foods in the world, lobster-flavored donuts. Now, I don't know about you, but that actually sounds kind of good. While you're munching a lobster-flavored donut, you have got to visit the International Cryptozoology Museum downtown. Apparently, they have proof that Bigfoot really does exist. Fry's. One of the zaniest things about Fry's, Virginia isn't just the name. In fact, Fry's is actually pronounced freeze. Another odd fact is the local river nearby is estimated to be 360 million years old, aka the oldest river in the US. The little mill town is nestled in the Blue Ridge Mountains, which are actually green. Why the hell are they called the Green Ridge Mountains anyways? The population is a few Fry's short of 600, but Fry's is still a place of adventure where there's all the outdoor recreation that you can handle, from kayaking to canoeing and even hiking and biking, along with various fishing spots along the way. If you're headed on over to Fry's, then just head on down to Crooked Road. It'll take you straight there. Louisville. The people in Louisville, Kentucky do tend to be a bit off the rocker, and you would be too if you had as much to drink as they do. Famous for its whiskey, Louisville is situated smack dab on the Bourbon Trail. The Kentucky Derby is also in Louisville, and days before a race, the celebrations begin with fireworks, parades, and, oh, of course, bourbon. Over 100,000 mint juleps are served during the event. Whiskey isn't the only thing that the town is best known for. It's also home to the largest baseball bat in the world, and 90% of the world's disco balls are made and housed there. You can't blame Louisville for being proud of its bourbon, as 95% of the world's supply comes from it. You can't blame them for also being a little dizzy either, but at least they're optimists, as the glass is always half full. Minneapolis, St. Paul. Minneapolis and St. Paul, Minnesota are basically one and the same. Deemed the Twin Cities, it is an ultra cool place in a kind of hip way, where catching a draft has nothing to do with their long winters, but rather means to go have a beer. You clearly gotta be comfortable with discomfort too, willing to ride your bike to work when it's snowing out, and snow it does. Instead of taking a midday siesta, Twin City folks take breaks for random snowball fights. One of the most beloved Twin Cities landmarks is a giant green Adirondack chair that weighs in at a 2,500 pound mark. The Nook basement is a diner dive whose ceiling and walls are lined with $16,000 worth of $1 bills. There is also the Center for Lost Objects, which features random odd objects that have been made into art or are up for sale. Proof that there's no telling what you'll find in the Twin Cities that delivers a double dose of weirdom. Albuquerque. Albuquerque, New Mexico is so quirky that it has been nicknamed Albuquerque. With uncanny links to the television series Breaking Bad, you can order a fake meth-sprinkled blue sky donut, which is located at the local donut shop. Tourists are crazy about the Hotel Perro Central, a former psychiatric hospital, and its rooftop apothecary lounge perched above. New York City. New York City is a freak show, to say the least. Located in the heart of New York State, never mind the popular photos that you see of Central Park and Times Square. You have got to go underground to get a bite of the real Big Apple, and we don't mean the subway, although that is a pretty wild place too. The Coney Island Circus Sideshow is where the city really gets twisted with contortionists and fire eaters as well. Have dinner in the dirt-filled galley at the Earth Room in Soho, or if you need a lift, you might as well enjoy the Elevator Historical Society Museum. New Orleans. What's considered weird in other cities is perfectly normal here in New Orleans, Louisiana. Founded in 1718 by the French, New Orleans loves to celebrate their heritage and anything else they can do. During Mardi Gras and most other times of the year, people parade in the streets in costumes and beads and get smashed. Why? Well, because they can. When it's time to take a break from the party scene, you can visit the Voodoo Museum for a spell, and the Museum of Death is always a hot spot for chilling entertainment. Eating's a bit weird in New Orleans too. From crawdads and alligators and just about everything in between, you can name it, they'll cook it, at least if you dare. And hey, you might like it as well. Austin. Located in the heart of the Lone Star State of Texas, Austin is the capital of the same state, and that capital is absolutely weird. In fact, Keep Austin Weird is the city's slogan, and if things remain the same in the town, that's not something that will be changing anytime soon. There's a festival called Keep Austin Weird Festival where entertainment is off the wall and the games are out of the box. Up for a game of chicken poop bingo? Even the grass is weird in Austin, like the polka dot lawn and other types of grass, which are also popular. Wink wink. You'll likely get to see and smell lots of that in Austin. It's a college town after all. The town has an unusual landfill, the Cathedral of Junk, where trash can be taken and ended up turning into art. One of the main attractions in Austin, Texas is Bat City, which is home to the largest urban colony of, well, you guessed it, bats, which is living proof that Austin is not only weird, but downright batty.